At the beginning of each year, most of us try to create goals based on work, on exercise, our own personal improvements. But how many of us actually create goals based on our relationships? So we hit the streets to find out what the everyday South African has planned for his or her romantic relationship. Hashtag relationship goals. That's right.
I'm on the precipice of perhaps asking the question. I don't want to give away too much. But yes, my goals are to make my girlfriend my wife.
My resolution for my relationship would be to stay single and enjoy my life.
My relationship in 2016 is probably to have more relationships.
My goal for my relationship in 2016 is to have a relationship.
I think specifically communication for me. I'm not a person that communicates that well in a relationship, and I want to improve that.
If there's one thing I could change, it would be to be more positive in the relationships I am.
I am romantically involved with someone at the moment, but I think my goal for 2016 is to build a better relationship with myself.
Wow, so interesting.
I don't know about that last one though, right? I don't know.
Well, with us in studio to talk more about relationship goals, we're joined by our resident relationship therapist, Dr. Eve, and we'll also be answering your questions, so you can give us a call on 083-913-3728. Firstly, Dr. Eve, welcome to the first show of 2016. Happy New Year.
To be here.
And what a topic to get into on the first day already.
I love it.
A lot of people are sitting next to Babe now, like Babe, listen now.
You know.
But, so when it comes to these relationship goals, I guess the first thing is to be in a relationship if you're not in one already, right? And it's about finding that love of your life, or that person that just completely rocks your world. But we find it difficult, most of us, because we don't really know what we want, right?
Sure.
Yeah, you know what, Katlecha, I think that's where the problem starts right there and then. And if you heard in one of the boxes, she said, my goal for 2016 is to be single.
Sure.
It's like, I love that.
Powerful. I love
that.
Your partner saw that. But why do we find it so difficult to define what it is that we want in a relationship as human beings?
Yeah, I think it's because we find it difficult to define ourselves as being people of value and being worthwhile and having needs that are really valid. You cannot get into a relationship or create any goals for a relationship or relating to another if you do not feel solid within yourself, if you yourself haven't got what's called boundaries. That's kind of my word for 2016, is boundaries, personal boundaries, things that I really pride in myself, 100%, and emotional ones as well. Things that I really like about myself, things that I value in myself, things that I really enjoy about myself. And therefore, I'm going to decide who I allow to come into this world, into my life, because I have value. People are unfortunately very needy. We come from very traumatic environments. And therefore, we go into seeking what you were talking about earlier, the one special person. There isn't such a thing anymore. You have to be the most special person for yourself. And based on that, you're going to be able to meet somebody who sees your value because you see your own value.
Sure.
If you go in traumatized and needy and really looking for what's called a codependent kind of relationship, or a relationship where you really believe the other person's going to make you happy, it's going to be toxic. It's going to be really an unhappy space.
Now, I also know that sometimes what we want is very different from what we need. What are the kind of techniques that we can employ in our own lives to make sure that we kind of get that relationship that gives us what we need from it?
Yeah. So the first thing, which is so difficult, Leigh-Anne, is to identify what are the things that we really do want and enjoy in our own lives. So you've got to find your own passions, your own interests, things that really turn you on. And I don't only mean sexually, but things that are really interesting, that make you an interesting person. So when you meet somebody, you have got a lot of value to add to their lives, and that they recognize and they say, wow, you know, here is somebody who's valuable, and therefore do I have enough value to add to this person?
That's a powerful statement, the value that you can add to someone else's life. Because we're sometimes always thinking about make me feel better, validate me all the time.
Absolutely.
But you flipped it around. I like that.
Absolutely. And so that comes from a place of need and not want. If you can fill yourself up and feel that I'm not needy, therefore you're able to look for things that I want in somebody else. And that makes it feel way more healthy and less toxic. So I'm really hoping that people, as they listen to us today, are going to fill themselves up with their own relationship first, with yourself, really first with yourself, to be able to become the person that you want to be before you enter into toxic relationships.
I love it. I love talking relationships, eh?
First day back at work, we're talking hashtag relationship goals. In fact, we'll be taking your calls on 083-913-3728 right after the break. Join us for that and more on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We'll be right back.
Only you can